Welcome, everyone. We're back again. This is ERT News episode 18. Anton, it's December. Can you believe it?
It
2025.
is.
We're almost finished.
No, it is. It is. And what a wonderful Thanksgiving break. I hope everybody enjoyed it and had some time with family and friends. And it's fun to be here in December, kind of wrapping up like the tail end of Q4, which has not disappointed in the slightest. It's been extremely busy with a lot of activity going on and so much in the pipeline for the next 30 days. So I'm really excited to see how the year finishes up. But we're not there yet. Let's go over what we got for today.
Yes, today's topic. So we have some roadmap updates. How could we wrap up 2025 without talking about what's coming up? What's on the roadmap? We also have a new specialist that we will be introducing, and Tim, our tax planning guy, coming back for part two of tax planning tips. So I will leave it to you, Anton, to talk through some of our roadmap.
Love it. There's a lot on the screen here. Let me talk through each one. And what I want to do is just be very transparent in terms of what we have been working on for much of 2025, where we see that going in 2026. Earlier in the year, we rolled out the Virtual Family Office Fast Track, where we help members work directly with their clients to present the Virtual Family Office value proposition and lead them through a two-meeting sequence. So we now have 30 clients that have signed up for proactive planning. That's either a monthly, a quarterly, or an annual retainer. And that is through 15 different advisors and accountants. And so what's neat about that is two things. One, 30 is a meaningful number. You know, you get to a dozen and you start working out the kinks. You get to 2 dozen plus, and you've got a pretty well-oiled process. And the fact that it's through 15 different advisors and accountants means it's not the Michael Jordans or the LeBron Jameses that this is now working for with clients. It's actually quite the opposite. That means on average, obviously, each member has brought two clients to the table that we've proactively engaged and led through Virtual Family Office. In January, we'll be sharing more in terms of what the average revenue and type of priorities as well as planning opportunities were actually developed out of that, what resulted from that. But overall, very, very promising initial launch to that. And then the second was the Partnership Fast Track, and that was launched in early August. And so far, we have had 14 individual accountants come through that with advisors inviting them into that three-meeting process. Out of those 14 accountants, 4 of them have signed engagement agreements to partner with those advisors. 8 of them are still in process. So if you do the math, that looks like 12 out of the 14 that we've sat down with and met with have either moved forward or are still in the meeting process. So basically, it was only 2 that at some point through the process, either we identified or they identified as not being a good fit. So with both of those, they are getting to the point where they're what I would call kind of operating at scale, which means they have their own unique team designated at Elite Resource Team or Virtual Family Office Services, VFO Services. And our focus is now shifting from kind of beta to refinement. So as we go into early 2026, what it's really going to look like is less new ideas when it comes to those and more tweaking and refining. So the numbers get better and better and the overall experience gets better for you, for our members. So really excited about the fast track programs, and I think they're going to have a huge impact on our ability to support the community in 2026. And that could be support you directly through one of the fast track programs if you're still either getting started in offering the VFO or forming your first partnership, or if you're already past that point, it gives us an ability again to support you more because we're actually in the game. Like again, we know the invoices that need to be sent, we know the guarantees that need to be offered, we know the meetings that need to be scheduled, we know the template agreements and such that need to be used because again, we're now using those again. So that's exciting. The book licensing options. This was something we rolled out a couple months ago, initially just to the VFO advisory board. And we have now essentially worked with all 5 members of the Virtual Family Office Advisory Board to help them to have their own Art of Proactivity books, where their name's on the front cover, they have a forward, all the calls to action go to their landing pages, their name, photo, and bios are all on the back cover. So this book licensing option is something we wanted to kind of test behind the scenes. And we're really happy with how it's coming out. And so
Looks
pay
good. It
attention. It
looks good.
does.
I'll say that.
I'm pretty happy
Yeah.
with it. You know, the marketing team worked really well, I thought, as well as our book publisher. And so that will be a bigger opportunity in 2026, both for the advisor and accountant facing books, as well as what will be worked on in early 2026, which is a client facing book that actually explains the value of the virtual family office to business owners and high income earners. From there, let's talk about quarterly live events. We actually have our first one scheduled for early 2026. This is going to be a live 2-day training virtually. It'll be about 3 hours each day. First day, we're going to focus on the virtual family office value proposition for end user clients. Second day, we're going to focus on the partnerships with accountants. So more to come on that, but it really is getting back to our roots. We used to actually offer in-person events quarterly in San Diego. And some of the more veteran advisors have just shared with us over the years, those were so helpful in the first year or two of me working with this model. You got to bring that back. So we're excited to roll those out. And that kind of goes hand in hand, Jenna, with the next bullet point, which is the local chapters and in-person meetups. So as part of the live virtual events, we are going to be introducing, and this will be more the middle of mid 2026, the idea of local chapters that are going to be led by VFO accredited professionals. Those are those are members that have worked with our virtual family office and generated over 50,000 of VFO revenue, and they've gone through the process to become VFO certified. So we'll work with them to establish local chapters. We'll also encourage, facilitate, and help with in-person meetups where people actually get to meet in person, go through, training that's going to help grow the business and facilitate further growth. So that'll be in the middle of 2026. We have that planned. The next is the accountant introduction program. Jenna, you've been very close to this, so you know this one very well.
I do.
Some
We have
members
an intro
know,
program. Look at that. 137 intro requests just in November alone. I'm really
and
happy with
and
that
and
number.
I want to clarify because November was a unique month.
It was very unique. It
It's
was
not
very
like we
unique.
got 1,500 requests throughout all of 2025, but rather what we started doing in October and November is really putting more energy and effort into the accountant introduction program. So I should take a step back. If you've never heard about the accountant introduction program, a couple years ago, we started organically having accountants reaching out to us saying, I really like this idea of the virtual family office. I don't want to do it on my own. Do you have an advisor that you've trained on this model? We said, yeah, of course. We've got quite a few. And that organically led to us saying, well, maybe there's a way for us to put some effort into proactively inviting accountants into this model by offering them a free introduction to a VFO certified advisor. We call them VFO certified professional, but those are advisors that have gone through and received the training. And it's been working well. I'd say it's in the refinement phase. And when I say it's been working well, I mean, we're getting 100 plus introduction requests in certain months when we're doing real active outreach or live webinars. Now, where we're at in the refinement, we've figured out how to get accountants to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm really interested in this. I want to be introduced to an advisor in this model. So 137, there's only 20 advisors right now roughly participating. So if you do the math, that means in November, those advisors received, was it 6+ introductions, each of them, right? The refinement comes from how much do we want to qualify these accountants before we introduce them to the VFO advisors. So right now, in November, what we saw was we created a lot of activity. The quality wasn't where we wanted. Some were really good. We've seen partnerships like click, but some never returned a phone call. They were overseas. They just weren't the right fit for the model. So now we're going through a process of discussing internally as a team, how do we qualify them better? And ultimately, what if we end up with something like, rather than 137, maybe we have 40 that come in every single month, but they're a little bit better quality and they show they have a higher desire. So that's what we will continue to work on into 2026. And that will then, once we feel like we've got that a little bit more refined, it'll never be perfect, but it'll be better. Then the vision in late 2026 is actually to launch our client introduction program. So just picture with me for a second. You have an accountant introduction program when you go through and you prove you know the model and you can lead this, and we can introduce you to qualified accountants. What better would you like, especially if you have an accountant partner? How about introductions to high quality clients? And these won't be people just looking for like retirement accounts or annuities, but these are business owners or high income earners, high net worth individuals that are looking for a virtual family office value proposition or experience. Our book that will come out in 2026 will help with that. And then obviously we have some other strategic opportunities and partnerships that we're working on as well. So I look forward to rolling that out. I'm anticipating that being late 2026, where we actually have that client introduction program that we beta as well. And then the last bullet point there, Jenna, is the continued education for the VFO Collective event. And we do that once a year in June. Right now it is CPE approved for CPAs. We have had some CFPs take the material and get it approved on their own, but we've never assisted with enrolled agents, insurance agents, attorneys, and we've never facilitated the CFPs. They've just done that organically. So it is our intention to continue to apply for more and more, approval to be able to issue those for more of the community. Obviously, the goal will be first and foremost that the quality of the experience is the priority. But if you can attend and you get great relationships and you learn a lot and benefit by getting CE credits, all the better. So we will be working on that in 2026 as well. So Jenna, I know that was a lot. Hopefully it was interesting, at least some of those bullet points to the folks that are listening right now. And I think it's an ambitious but exciting roadmap.
was gonna say, I'm just looking at it, I'm like, whew, I got a lot to do. We got a lot to do, but couldn't be more excited. This year was a great year for ERT. I think we had a lot of great initiatives, and now just the refinement and of course going on to bigger and better and always evolving is the goal. So very much looking forward to 2026, which is just around the corner, but still have some things to introduce today, which is our new VFO specialist, Jim Carlisle. He is from Dinsmore and Shoal. It is a specialist that you can go to for just some general corporate legal work, which I think is great. We've heard some wonderful things. They've jumped on some webinars with us, and I think it's a wonderful addition to the community. Anything you wanted to add to that, Anton?
No, yeah, it's very timely. It's a great specialist.
Love it. And the next thing I wanted to mention coming up December 8th at 10 Pacific and 1 Eastern is going to be the Q4 Tax Planning Tips Part 2. Tim's first part, Tim Gacy, our internal CPA here with us, who's been on ERT News, if you've been watching, has been such a hit that we wanted to invite him back so that he can really go through any additional or last minute questions that you have regarding Q4 tax planning. He's been doing a ton of it. So if you want to take the opportunity to jump on with Tim, ask him anything that you need. Be sure to invite your accountants to attend that as well. So don't miss a chance, as Tracy says here, to sharpen your toolkit, finish out the quarter strong. That again will be on Monday, December 8th. So I think that's a great thing to add to your calendar for next Monday. That is all that I have for today, Anton. I still just kind of excited about the roadmap that you shared and very much looking forward to our last few episodes of 2025. Anything else you want to leave our viewers with today?
Not, no, it's the time to execute. If there's anything we can do to help, please reach out. We got a solid month left of 2025. So if it's just even one client, let's make a difference. Thanks,
Well
everyone.
said. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.